this so far?
Hello, Typing Piper here. First real day off in a couple weeks with moving, working on the house, moving, yeah. So originally my plan for today was to go out, get the chainsaw going, and cut some wood, because property needs a little cleaning up and I need some firewood. So last week I tried to get the chainsaw started up, wouldn't start. Started taking it apart, found that the fuel line was broken. Of course, it's from the 70s, so over time, even plastic and other parts, they break down, become brittle. And this one had completely snapped off on the way to the carburetor. So I went down to the hardware store, picked up a new fuel line, which was like 30 cents or something crazy. And took about an hour to put it in. And filled it with gas today, went to start it up. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, not only does it have a broken fuel line that was replaced, there's something else going on. I checked the spark plug. It seemed fine, although I'm a little concerned that it looked like it was covered in oil. I don't know if it would spark if that's the case. But yeah, next step is probably cleaning the carburetor, seeing if that makes any difference. And after that, I just don't know. I was hoping that the $40 chainsaw that I bought at a estate sale was good, and it's looking like it's not. I know it runs. That first time I tried starting it, even with a busted fuel line, it did work for a few seconds. Then it died, and it never started again. So I have been out here for just over an hour with an axe, chopping up wood. And I don't know, maybe it was the kind of exercise that I've needed. Felt pretty good. Blade was a little dull, or it got that way. I sharpened it last week, sharpened it again before I came out, and it just wasn't cutting like I'd like it to. But yeah, so because I don't have a tractor or a trailer, I don't really feel like driving either one of my cars down here to throw dirty wood in the back. I'm loading this up because I like walking on the property and need the exercise. And even though I've got the gym set up, it's cold. It's not really the time of year that I want to be locked up in a room. This room right here, and lifting weights. Plus I wake up before my wife, and my kids wake up before my wife, which means I'm watching the kids for the first couple hours of the day, which is ideally when I'd want to be working out. That just isn't happening. So my wife asked me the other day, what are we doing about Christmas? And I thought she was asking me for like things I wanted, or yeah, I'm just gonna leave that. And or things I needed, or what would I like for Christmas? And it turned out she was just asking what I was gonna get the kids. But if that question arises again, well, I need a chainsaw. And maybe a tractor with a wagon or trailer attached. That might come in handy. Well, chickens are doing good. They handled the move very well, and they've adjusted just fine. They seem to like the new coop. Really, the only issues I've had around here is the temperature drops, water freezes. But surprisingly, the container for the water, it doesn't turn into a solid block of ice. So when it did get down into the 20s, I just came out, broke away the ice at the bottom, and filled again with water. I think they were good for the rest of the day. But things are going to change. Weather's supposed to be nice for the next week. And by nice, I mean 30s and 40s, no snow. I'm alright with that. But it is Michigan. So it does worry me when the snow comes later than it usually does. And just giving me the impression that it's just building up for something dramatic. And now that we live in what even the locals consider the middle of nowhere, that's concerning. But we'll get through it, just like anything else. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 more trips like this, and I'll be done for the day with what I was planning on doing. It would be nice if I could get the chainsaw working, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. And maybe I'll have to make it. Oh shoot, today's Sunday. Hardware store's not open. There goes that idea. So I was able to get some pallets for the compost system I'm putting in. I only got 2 so far. And that, I don't want it to be a long-term project. I want to get it up and running. There's a lot of biomass around here that can be used that I could start breaking down and make sure I get the garden going in spring. But when I'm driving around town with a Corolla and I see pallets, doesn't leave me with too many options as to how many or how I could get them home, especially if they're the bigger ones. That was the ordeal. There was like 10 pallets with those other 2 when I found them. And those were the only 2 that would fit in the trunk of my car. And nothing was small enough to even squeeze into the back seat. So, unless I got neighbors that have pallets they don't want, it's going to be an ongoing thing, unfortunately. Although I think Family Farm and Supply, or Tractor Supply, I think they might have pallets. So if I was desperate enough, I could always just make a special trip over there with my wife's car and go about it that way. I just don't feel like spending the gas on that. It's one thing if you come across them and you're already out. It's another thing to make a whole special trip for something that you're just gonna use to make stuff rot away. So I had a debate going on in my head recently, And it was about the land that we bought. And I was questioning my thoughts on cleaning it up. Like, what exactly does that mean? And isn't nature doing its own thing the way that it's supposed to? And who am I to say, like, this tree needs to be cut down or chopped up or turned into firewood? Well, I guess it goes back to that whole being stewards of the land thing. You know, when things do get out of whack, I guess it's our duty to do something about it. And as you can see, there's a lot to clean up. And there's a lot that I could leave. And, you know, I guess it's, you know, what is useful, what's doing its job by just rotting away like it needs to. And it's something I'm going to have to figure out. What can be used as firewood. And, you know, my wife and I were discussing growing some mushrooms back here, like shiitakes and lion's mane, stuff like that. Of course, I have to know. First, I have to figure out, like, what kind of wood. Well, what wood do we have available? What mushrooms grow on it? And go from there. That's one thought that we had. And as for cleaning things up, I've been pondering my extreme lack of deer hunting ability, even when I have my own property and there's a shit ton of deer out here. And I'm wondering if cleaning up the land would actually help with that. Because when I was hunting down south, I know it sounds weird, but 2 hours south of here, when I was using public hunting land, you know, they did controlled burns, they had trails that they kept up. There's a lot of things going on even with that wooded area. I wouldn't say it necessarily made it easier, although I couldn't tell you how many times I snuck up on deer. Granted, it was not during hunting season, and I was not able to shoot a deer even under those circumstances down there. But up here, and I guess this is where, you know, being a steward comes into play. When there's so many thorny bushes and broken branches on the forest floor, you know, that's stuff that I can control. And it's not going to hurt the deer population. It's not going to hurt the woods itself, you know. So I guess that's something I'm going to have to take upon myself to do. And who knows, maybe it'll make hunting easier. Or I could just build a damn blind instead of using that thing. Which, granted, I got it for free. It was nice to use. First couple days when it was raining and freezing cold outside. But in the end, not my favorite. I didn't like the lack of visibility that it had. Didn't like how flimsy it was. Didn't keep the wind out very well, even though the inside was rubberized. But you know, it's got those screens. I don't know. I don't know what would be better. But everybody around here has freaking wood blinds. They built themselves. Most of them are on some type of stilts, so they have a longer range to shoot. Guess it's just time to learn from the locals. Well, overall, my pile of wood isn't where I'd like it to be, but I've been at this for 3 hours now, I think. Yeah, about 3. 2, if you subtract all the time I spent trying to get the chainsaw going. But I stopped carrying wood from the house back here and picked up the axe, came back here where the cabin is, and went around the surrounding area picking off trees that I had noticed over the late summer. So I'm still happy with what I accomplished. Was able to get quite a bit done. Now I have to pick up some compost material that my wife wants me to clean up and take care of, and then help her do some painting in the house. Hopefully I can get back out here in a few hours and do some writing in that cabin back there, because that is something I have yet to do. And I've got my spot all cleaned up and ready to go. Typewriter is ready to work, and hopefully I can get that going, because one of the reasons we bought this place. It'd be a shame not to use it. So that's my goals for the rest of the day. It is the last day of hunting season, and I feel like I accomplished more today than I did the entire season, sitting in a blind, walking through the woods, seeing deer, seeing all the signs of deer, all the fresh signs, getting a nice shot and not being able to take it. Yeah, that was opening day. Rainy, cold, windy, and after being out here for about 10 minutes, a big doe showed itself. Perfect side shot. Go to look through the scope, everything's fogged over. And I couldn't even use the iron sight because on that particular rifle, the scope is mounted on the rear sight. Lo and behold, I grabbed the wrong gun for opening day, considering the weather. And that doe, along with these 6 others that were following it, went on their merry way. And I went marching back to the house to grab my other rifle, and not seeing a damn thing the rest of the day. Because that's how my luck goes. So, anyways, I'm thinking I'd probably get more accomplished as a writer this winter than I will a hunter. But come spring, a lot of this field here will be plowed. I'll be planting corn and soy, along with a raised bed vegetable garden, back by the cabin, I'm planning on doing a pumpkin patch back there. It just seems like the appropriate space for it. And I think this spring is going to be a lot of fun with figuring out what exactly can be done with this land. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So hopefully I get out to the cabin tonight, but the way things have been going lately with the kids and everything, my hopes are not high on that. It sucks. In the meantime, keep on typing. Hip hop.